Oh my goodness. What an incredible day we had.
Yeah, but a hard day.
It was very difficult to shoot these photos. So we had the opportunity to go out and shoot with Isaac Lockwood, who is the fastest gun in the world. No, this guy can go from hands up to drawing his weapon to emptying 6 shots. And it was about 7 yards away. So about 21 feet away.
Yep.
Every single one of those shots was hitting directly in the center, dead on in that target.
So he is rated number 1.
1.23 seconds from hands up to draw. Like
I remember when we first walked out there, like, and we were watching him do some of his warm-ups, like before we even started to roll any footage and taking pictures. My mind is blown. Like,
totally.
I can't get my fingers to move that fast and scratching my face.
So here's the issue. I'm going to show a first picture here. And the thing with this first picture is it's not a great image. It was just my first series. You have these preconceived notions when you're going to go out and shoot something. And I realized really quickly that, oh, he's not going to draw a gun and he's going to get lined up and he's going to be in the spot where I want him to be in. No, he's going to draw a gun. He's going to lean around a barrier. And then he's going to fire off these shots while he's falling.
Yep.
Like it literally becomes like I don't have any control of his placement. And I realized really quickly that this was going to be a difficult day.
Yeah. And one of the things that I didn't really realize maybe, and you know, you're a hunter, right? So you're more into the firearms thing than I am, but like just what a big deal competitive shooting is.
Huge. So Isaac, not only is he sponsored, he's one of the main shooters for Howitzer Clothing, which is a huge line. You're seeing them everywhere these days. But also a company called Gray Guns, who make competitive slides for Sig Sauer guns. And he has his own branded gray gun.
Yeah,
like
pretty cool.
This guy's the top echelon.
He's the real deal.
He's the real deal. So
he's the big shot.
Right away, we found out really quickly that things are going to happen really, really fast. Yep. So we were shooting with our FJ400s. So we got 400 watts of power. We're thinking this is plenty of power. We found out really quickly when you have flying brass out of a gun and you want to freeze that brass, 400s it is a little more difficult to freeze that. But we were able to do it.
I wish we had this, right? Which is the new FJ800.
Yeah. So we do have a solution now that we've got another full stop of light that we can add.
But a few weeks ago when we shot this, we didn't have one of these.
That was not available at the time. So I just wanted to preface it with, not so much like some great shot, but just the fact that there was so much movement going on. And we always tell people, like, it's not you can't shoot this. Because I could point to myself and say, hey, Mark, you can't shoot it either. But when you get introduced to a new sport, a new situation, it takes a while for you to kind of figure out the nuances of what's going on. And so don't feel bad. Use that as your bullpen, your warm-up to make changes. And so that's what we did. We quickly made changes. So let's talk about your first shot, which is not a pistol.
No, so it's a rifle, right? So I think he just started shooting rifles. He was telling us, in the last 6 months, 8 months, where he's gotten competitive with rifles.
Yeah.
He's like number 6
in the world
for rifles. And he just started. So we were shooting, basically doing a branding shoot for Isaac, right? Mm-hmm. He wanted to get some very cool shots of him doing what he does best. And so it was super important that we got the Howitzer logos in there, his logo, all the different branding, right, in one shot. How do you do that? Yeah, sometimes difficult. And we had to show it where it was something that was looking like it was being prepped for action. So, this is the first shot that I came up with. Basically, I wanted to make it look crispy, right? It's a little more crispy than my normal style, but by backlighting it, that's not the sun behind us. It's actually using another FJ400 full power, so I got that flare coming through.
It made the picture more dynamic.
Yeah,
it felt like there was movement, even though he was just sighting a gun.
Yeah. So what my goal is to highlight the firearm and his brands more than his face in this point. So the hat was purposely pulled down with a highlight on the hat, right, which brings your eye back up to the logo on his hat, which brings you back down to the logo on the stock of the gun, and then going out to the barrel, right? So it's just kind of pulling all those things together. You can still see it on his arm as well. But to give a shot that looks like it's being prepped for action, ready to go.
Yeah.
His finger's not on the trigger. He's sighting up, ready to start. But
And I'll tell you, here was what I added to this photo is, do you remember, it took me like 2 or 3 minutes to get his arm where it would say howitzer, like,
yeah, that was
trying to stretch that out so you could at least still read it on his arm.
So here's my photo takeaway from this. Like, paying attention, because I didn't notice that about his arm at first. I just knew.
Yeah, you were taking those shots, and I'm like, wait. We got to get that.
I was so focused on making sure I could get some flare coming off and getting that part right. Just the highlight on his finger, on his knuckles. All that stuff was thought out. But that's what's cool about shooting with somebody else, is that you have the ability to say, okay, here's what we need to do. And so you actually spent 3 to 4 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah.
Just making sure that you had those letters correct. So
yeah. I'm going to show you a picture now. This is when he was in the heat of the action. Man,
that's cool.
Check out the video really quickly on how fast this happens. I mean, it's unbelievable how fast those bullets come out of that gun. But so the issue was, I wanted to catch that flying brass. I didn't at this point. It wasn't about, oh, I need to freeze the brass.
Yep.
I'm like, I just want to see this arc of brass coming out of that gun, because he's shooting so fast that I knew they would be following each other, that I got down below him. And as he was firing, I kept moving to the left and to the right, because I was trying to get that brass to actually hit my lens. And people are going to go, it's going to break the glass. It may be. I don't think it's going to hurt.
A little warm.
And it's a little warm when it hits you. But I actually was moving to where that brass was hitting right on my camera.
I was actually surprised you're doing that.
Yeah, because I wanted to catch that brass. And I think right here, again, it's a different style of shooting for me even. But man, I was so happy with the results of getting that flow of brass.
So check this out. Speaking of flying brass, right? So one of my things that I wanted to try to do, and I didn't know if it was possible with the equipment we have, and it really isn't possible.
Correct.
I wanted to see if I could capture the bullet, After the Evan Bucci picture, or it wasn't Evan Bucci that actually took that one. It was one of the other photographers.
Correct, yeah.
During Trump's attempt where, like, they caught the bullet. I want to try to do that. Well, it's virtually impossible. But if you look at this picture, right, I've got the gas spray coming out of the gun. And there is, in fact, if we zoom in on this picture, you can see that there's
a straight line coming out through that gas.
Capture that, but and this was shot at only 4,000th of a second. It's because we were using flash, right? I can't go beyond 8,000 with our flashes. But if I had more power, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. The picture is not my favorite picture, but it met the goal that I was at least trying to capture something there. I like the blast coming out of the gun. But so I think, the shot met my goal. Does it meet the goal for anything we were trying to capture other than my personal one? No, it's a terrible picture on it.
And we'll show here at the end some of our favorite pictures of the day, including we did some more portrait-y type work with him. But all in all, man, the whole thing with this issue is just, man, you're going to come in with all these ideas. You got to throw those ideas out sometimes and just go, I'm going to get down and dirty. And sometimes it's shooting something maybe you hadn't planned.
Yes. So this shot here, now, please don't write comments. Right? Because you're going to say, never do this.
And don't do this at home.
Right. Do not do this at home. The only reason why this shot worked is because Isaac took apart the gun in front of me.
Yeah. And you didn't ask. Like, this is like when you're dealing with gun, that's why I said, don't have your friends that are just guys that like guns that go, no, I'm safe. No, this is the top shooter in the world that himself said, guys, look, he removed the actual slide, took the gun apart, showed us the empty, and he was like, if we're going to do this, I want you to see this and reassemble.
He was pretty hardcore about it. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can look down the barrel, but you still don't know.
You always treat a gun like it's loaded.
So I wanted to get a shot, used very wide, right? And just make sure that I could have it pointed right at my face,
Right.
And I think it's a super cool image. So again, don't write us and say, I'm promoting that kind of stuff. But for what we were doing,
yes,
for his branding,
yeah,
the shot worked.
Yeah, and it works out. It's a perfect shot for the optics company. Like, that is the optics that he shoots with is so important. Like, it's such high end, the things that he's using. And so, that was the reason we wanted to particularly get this shot.
Yeah. So, for me in this shot, what I'm thinking is it's really all about his hands, right? His hands are they are powerful hands. Right? I would not want to get hit by this guy, but just that was the whole idea, is to show his strength, the strength of the equipment, the optics, everything together. Yeah, works really well. So that was my my take on that one. But
awesome. So we had a great day. We learned a lot. Man, I hope you guys get opportunities to get out and shoot action, have opportunities to shoot some of these things like this. And it doesn't have to be for a customer, for a brand, you know, be safe, but find somebody that's doing some sort of action thing, because this helps your photography. Even we're shooting models, you know, we were shooting yesterday ballerinas. You know, a lot of the concepts of that catching motion, we could use the same concepts that we use with Isaac with the ballerina. So everything you do in photography helps the rest of your photography. So
real quick, maybe we can just give a little overview of the equipment used.
Sure.
For this thing. So, you know, we were both shooting Nikon Z8s, right? Every one of these shots was high speed sync. Every one of them. And we were using the FJ 400, which is, you know, this guy here.
Yep.
Right. 400 watt light, which these things.
And we were shooting with 2 of them each time. So,
and they had on the deep reflector. So, you know, not this guy, but it's like this tall. I don't have one right here in the studio, but like,
because I'm glad you said that, because that's one of the questions we always get is like,
modifier.
So it was that deep. And the reason we used it was because we could keep the light a little further away, and you could gain almost a stop and a half of light with that super deep. And we're saying super deep. We're talking about a like 14-inch.
It's 14 inches
reflector.
So the thing about that is, again, I mentioned earlier about my crispiness that I was looking for. I wanted hard shadows. I wanted hard look, right? I didn't want beauty lighting. That deep reflector, that's the secret sauce to doing these kind of
do these crispy,
especially since it was bright outside. This was shot at noon. Right?
Yeah,
perfect photo time. Yeah, but you know, we wanted to make sure that we could punch that and overpower that sun. So I just want to mention that real quick of what we're using, and then the cheetah stands. You know, just pop.
Yeah, moving those things around
that was good
constantly. If you're not using a cheetah stand, I just challenge you, just try one out, because what's going to happen is after you use them for a couple shoots and you don't have them, you're going to go, oh no, where's my cheetah stand? So
I want to give a quick shout out to my bag. Okay. So do you remember that day?
Oh, that was the day you mentioned.
It had just rained. First thing I do is I pull my bag out of the car, right? It slips out of my hand, falls in the mud.
Yeah.
Right. At that point, my bag was muddy. So I just ended up keeping it on the ground in the mud. You had a nice little blankie for yours, but mine didn't. So what did I say? I said afterwards, like, I just wiped it off. My bags still look new.
Yeah.
Right. That's the thing about think tank bags.
Oh, they're bulletproof.
They're bulletproof. Yeah. No, but seriously, I love the stuff. So just a quick shout out for having a bag that can take abuse.
All right. So that we don't just keep dragging this on, we're going to go ahead and we'll show some of our favorite pictures of that day. And man, I hope you got something out of this video. But more importantly,
don't forget.
Yeah.
Don't be lazy.
Don't be lazy.
All right. See you.
See you later.